I know in the last story that I did on Jayden Spicer, where I had told everyone that his remains had been found, that his mother had confessed, I said I wasn't going to come back and do any more updates for a while until more information comes out. But I did want to just give this brief update. First of all, I want to say that I said in that video that if any of the stuff that I said proved to be untrue or incorrect, I would come back and retract it or update it. So I want to start with the fact that in my video I mentioned that it was rumored that a lot of people were saying that they heard that Jayden's body had been buried in the same grave as his deceased grandmother, who had passed away in May of 2025. As far as I know right now, that is not true. Nancy Grace did an interview the other night on her channel, on her show, with Trooper Matt Gayhart from the the Kentucky State Police in Hazard. And he was one of the leads in this. He was one of the lead searchers, investigators. He was one of the ones that was the voice of the police while this was going on. And Nancy Grace interviewed him. And so what I understand what he indicated was that the child had been buried in a shallow grave in the same area, possibly near the cemetery, but not in it. And that he had been placed in some type of a tote. It's my understanding that this child's body was put into this, and he was buried in this makeshift shallow grave. So now, the mother did appear before the judge in court for the first time Thursday. Today's Saturday. She pled not guilty, even though she originally had confessed to the police and led them to where the body was. She turned around and pled not guilty. More charges have been added to her charges. Kentucky mother accused in her 10-year-old son's death makes her first court appearance. And now she's also been charged with witness tampering, because it was said that she had been coaching the other children in the house as to what to say if they were asked about Jayden. Were these children aware of what actually took place, or did she get rid of this child's body before they woke up? She told investigators that she then took his body to a wooded area off on Canoe Road near Joe Little Fork, where Jayden was buried in a plastic tote. She falls into the category, and if you go watch the Nancy Grace episode that she did this week about Jayden, she talks about this in the video about Susan Smith, the woman who killed her own 2 little boys by putting them in their car seat, strapping them in, and rolling them into the water. She talks about Chris Watts and how he killed his wife and children. And a few others, but now this Felicia Gross falls into this category. So today, Monday, August 18th, 2025, Felicia Gross was back in court today, and charges were changed on her, and they were upgraded to murder in the 2nd degree. She was also charged with 2 counts of witness tampering. She's been charged with abuse of a corpse, concealing evidence, lying to police, basically. And today, as well, her husband, Josh Gross, was also arrested, and he's been charged with complicity to murder, tampering with evidence, tampering with witness, abuse of a corpse, and basically the same charges as her, except that he's been charged with complicity instead of actual murder. So I'm guessing that the autopsy has shown something that proved that this was not going to be a manslaughter in the second degree. I don't have a whole lot more details. I'm just going to continue to watch as I go along, and as more details and other information comes out, I will come back and do more updates. But as of right now, they're both in custody. They're being held on a $1 million bond. There was something that led prosecutors to say, and the Commonwealth Attorney to say, we're going to file a murder charge, murder in the second degree. Over the weekend, locals in Breathitt County held a vigil for Jayden Spicer, and in the photographs and things that were posted, you just saw this normal little boy smiling and playing, with pictures of him with his siblings and his family members, and he was just enjoying his life. His grandmother passes away, and he's sent back to live with his mother, who really had never really had custody of him for any long period of time. And within 3 months, this little child is dead, and she's been charged with his murder, and it's very sad. Someone in the community, a local preacher, local priest rather, put up the money to help pay for the burial. Whatever there was to be paid, this man put the money up, and I don't know if anyone else helped to contribute to that. People were offering to help contribute to that. They did make Jayden a special coffin in the Spider-Man theme. They said that was his favorite superhero, and that he enjoyed watching Spider-Man. So they did make him a coffin. And while these things are really wonderful to have people come together as a community to do these things for this child in life, because in my personal opinion, people may agree, some may and some may not, he was returned to live in a home with someone who had a history of violence, had a history of child endangerment and drug use. And people can be rehabilitated, but I don't know that there was anything to indicate that she wanted Jayden back or petitioned to get him back. I don't know the details of all that, but someone returned him to that woman's home, and within 3 months he was dead. And it bears looking into, in my opinion. And as someone said, it was too late for Jayden, but maybe what happened, they say everything does happen for a reason. I can't bear to think that this was the reason Jayden was taken in such a horrible manner at such a young age. But they just said maybe it would save his siblings from a similar fate. Maybe it would save them from growing up in a household of violence and abuse and drug use, and possibly something similar happening to one of them. And I just wanted to share that with everybody. But I'll keep following this, and I'll come back and update as soon as I have anything more.